So hey guys, welcome back to my channel. There is new Halloween Horror Nights news that we need to discuss. So let's get into this thing. So since it is now mid-July and we still have quite a few house announcements and all of the Scare Zone announcements to come, I have a feeling you're going to be seeing more frequent videos here on my channel about Halloween Horror Nights, and I think most of you are pretty excited about that, thanks to all the new subscribers who have hopped on after my last Halloween Horror Nights video. And let's get to this new announcement that came out this past week. So obviously the huge news in Halloween Horror Nights this past week was that Ghostbusters has been confirmed. We are getting Ghostbusters. We are finally going to have a Ghostbusters house at Halloween Horror Nights. This house has been on the rumor list for so long. It seemed like every year Ghostbusters got thrown out there as a suggestion, as a possibility. And up until this year, I was always like, guys, you were just wishful thinking. You are wishful speculating and it's not going to happen. And so when I first heard this rumor this year, I was skeptical to say the least because, again, it's just been circulating for so long. And then when I finally heard it from a very trusted source that it was coming, I was still shocked. I wasn't sure that they would ever actually try to tackle this one because it's such an 80s classic and it's so near and dear to a lot of our hearts, and especially some of the A&D team's hearts, which if you're not super familiar with the behind the scenes of Halloween Horror Nights, A&D are the team that put together Halloween Horror Nights. They design the houses, they get the properties, they do all of the behind the scenes work for Halloween Horror Nights. From the little bit I know about the team, I know that at least for Mike Aiello, who is one of the head honchos, Ghostbusters is a huge passion project for him. So I expect this house to have a whole lot of love put into it. And as a Ghostbusters fan myself, I cannot wait to see what they do at this house because I know their hearts are going to be in it. And I think we're in for an awesome ride and an awesome house. So let's discuss what the press release says about the house before we go into some more of my thoughts about it. So we are celebrating the 35th anniversary of Ghostbusters this year. It came out in 1984, and let's just say that Ghostbusters and I were born in the same year. So that's exciting. And the press release says we're going to walk through our favorite scenes, including the New York Public Library, the Temple of Gozer, and more. You'll be transported to New York as the rift between worlds opens, releasing ghoulish spirits, hideous specters, and ectoplasm dripping phantasms in every shape and size. Come face to face with the voracious Slimer, that I call it. I can just see the projections for Slimer. I don't know if they'll do a practical Slimer, but I could just see them using like a Pepper's Ghost Slimer. That's what I said in the original rumors video that I put out. I just see so much potential for Slimer. I think it's gonna be great. I assume it's supposed to be the all-powerful. It says the all-power Gozer. I'm an editor by trade. I have a journalism degree, so I find these little things. But yes, I'm pretty sure they meant the all-powerful Gozer. Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see how they're gonna do that. And more. So, really curious. Are we gonna have a full-size Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man in this house? Can you imagine? Because it's in a soundstage, so they've got the space to do it. I just cannot wait to see how they pull that off. And they mentioned the original characters, so I wonder if we will have scare actors who are lookalikes. They've got Peter, Ray, Egon, and Winston listed on here, so I have a feeling it's going to be similar to Stranger Things, where we have scare actors who resemble those actors, and the rest is just general Horror Nights PR. I think this is going to be, like I said, a fantastic house because of the love that the team is going to put into it. I've already seen some people knocking it because it's not a horror film. And yes, the name is Halloween Horror Nights, but Halloween is the first word that's in that statement. And not every Halloween spooky movie has to be a horror film. And frankly, a ghost movie still fits with Halloween. It is a classic. People say it's not scary. I mean, I guess I wasn't scared of it as a child either, but it's still a ghost movie. It's still a threat of a giant marshmallow man coming after you. There are still spirits and hauntings, and I don't see how that doesn't fit into Halloween Horror Nights. Not everything has to be blood and guts. You're allowed to have spooky things and aliens and non-straight up slasher films. That's totally fine, and I am excited for it. You've heard me talk about my lack of love for IPs at this event before, and I still stand by that. I am still an originals person. I would still take a full original event even over having the Ghostbusters there. But if we're going to have IPs, these are the type of IPs that I 100% support. And it's not just because I personally connect with the IP. I think it fits the event because the main thing that Universal excels at compared to all the other haunts I've been to is, one, they've got a massive budget, so they can afford to pull off major sets, but two, they're a movie studio. It's a theme park that is known for recreating its movie sets. And if you're going to pull off Ghostbusters, you need the Universal talent and the Universal budget to make it happen. And I fully believe we will be walking through realistic sets from this classic movie that's going to probably make me just as emotional as it was walking through Stranger Things last year. If you remember from my review of Halloween Horror Nights last year, I didn't think Stranger Things was my favorite house of the year. I think I put it as solid like 5th or 6th place in my rankings. But I still had an emotional reaction to it. Walking through the house, I actually was teary-eyed when I left because it felt like I was walking through one of my favorite series. So even though it wasn't the scariest, it wasn't the best sets of the event, it was still an experience as a fan, and I fully expect Ghostbusters to be similar. And I grew up on the Ghostbusters. Obviously, I already said I was born the year the movie came out. So obviously, it's a few years later when I finally watched it. But it was a classic film that my parents enjoyed, so they made sure I watched it. My parents had been very much into SNL during that heyday that included Bill Murray, so Ghostbusters was definitely one of the films they enjoyed. I watched it a lot as a youngster, and then the cartoon as well. The cartoon version of the Ghostbusters that came out, I don't know when that started, late 80s, early 90s, I don't know, but I loved the cartoon. I was very much a tomboy as a little girl. Like, I had Barbies, but I would much rather play with my Ninja Turtles gear and my Ghostbusters gear. So I had the proton packs, I had the ghost trap that I used to play with my friends. I just have a ton of memories of the movie and the cartoon from a kid, and so I very much look forward to experiencing it as a 34-year-old at Halloween Horror Nights. So what do you guys think about Ghostbusters? Are you excited for it? Are you a fan of the series? What do you hope to see in the house? Let me know down below. So the other thing I want to talk about in this video is the rumor of what's replacing Tooth Fairy. So nothing has been confirmed, but in my last video I told you that I was hearing rumblings that it was going to be an IP. And at the time I had heard what the rumor was going to be for the IP, but it was so new that it was circulating that I didn't want to talk about it yet. But we're a little ways out from it. I'm hearing it more and more. It's becoming much more public as to what the rumored replacement is, and now there has been a casting call which all but confirms what the replacement is, so I feel comfortable talking about it at this point. Without further ado, if you haven't heard already, so it sounds like the replacement for Tooth Fairy, which was supposed to be an original house and it was already cast, and then that cast was released and they started casting again for that house, sounds like it's going to be the IP, the movie Us. So Jordan Peele movie Us came out late last year, I think. I have yet to see it, but I heard really good things about it, and I know that the commercials scared me. The commercials were so scary. They were hard to watch. And I watched Get Out by Jordan Peele last year and loved it. So I suspect I will really enjoy Us when I watch it, if it does become Halloween Horror Nights homework, if it does get confirmed that that is a replacement. A lot of people were wanting Get Out to be a house at Halloween Horror Nights in the past, and I don't think that one works as well for Halloween Horror Nights because it's more of a psychological film, and that's hard to translate into a house where it's supposed to be jump scares. From what I've seen of Us in the previews and from what I've read about Us, I think that that will transfer much better as a house if we're going for Jordan Peele properties. I understand it's another psychological thriller, but even the visuals from the commercials were very unnerving, and I could see them replicating those unnerving feelings in a house. So like I said, there's been rumors of this circulating, but then Universal put out a casting call, and that's usually where we start to piece together what's fact and fiction, and the casting call was very much specifically looking for body types that mimic the movie. And the timing of it was very fishy because basically Tooth Fairy went out and then Universal sent out an email asking for pretty much exactly what we suspected. If you guys don't know, I auditioned for a couple different things for Universal when I lived in Orlando. I auditioned for Halloween Horror Nights in 2013, and I auditioned for Macy's in 2012, I think, as a tap dancer. So I still get all their casting emails. Specifically requesting males 6 feet and up, all ethnicities and body types, males and females, African American, 5'6" and under, youthful in appearance, females, African American, 5'4" through 5'9", slender build, and females 5'7" and taller, athletic build. That's what they were looking for. So, seems to confirm a new house with a cast that seems to mirror the cast of Us. That could be very exciting. What do you guys think? Are you interested in Us? Do you think it'll be a good replacement? I mean, we don't know what Tooth Fairy would have been, so who's to know what it's replacing? But I'm curious. I'm excited to see the film and then make my judgments from there, but I think I'm really gonna like the movie. I think it's gonna unnerve me, but I think I'm gonna like it. Okay guys, so that's all I have for today, but like I said, these announcements are gonna start churning out, so expect more from me soon. See you guys next time. Bye.